Hello, I'm SoundGuyStu and this is Let's Add Sound, and today we're going to be adding internal ambiences and reverbs, and that sounds a bit like this. And a bit like this as well. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is go into the Ambience folder and make a new folder for the sound effects inside the pump house. So pump house, and I want to create a new event, a 3D event, and this will be the light buzz, and we can assign that to the bank ambience. So if I open up the audio bin, and I think I brought it in earlier. Here we go, yeah, light buzz. So we'll bring that in, make it a looping sound. Wonderful. Just name that there, light buzz. And then I also want another event for the machine hum. Which I will assign to ambience. So I think I've got that one there. Same again, bring it in, make it loop. Alright, that's fine. So now what we need to do is make these sounds only play when we're inside and not play at all when we're outside. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a snapshot, which is a sort of custom mix that you can enable whenever you want there. So snapshots. Right, so what we need to do first is set up a mix. So if I create a new group, we're going to call this Ambience External, and all the sounds from outside will go into that bus. So the boat splash, forest, beach, the sea loops there, the tree birds. These two we're going to have as internal. So ambience external, close that, and what it does is it creates a new group fader there, so you can control that as a group. Then I should also make a Foley group, and we can put the footsteps and the jumps in there. Okay, and then we want ambience internal. And we want to put the pump house, the light buzz and the machine hum into the internal bus. And what that means is if I'm playing, if I go to the event editor, play the sound, go back to the mixer, you can see it's an internal ambient sound, and we can control that how we like. Oh no, I was already on the mixer, so if I go back to the editor window, just stop that. So if I go to the mix window, this mix that we have here is our standard mix that will be playing all the time. So we actually don't want any of these internal sounds to be playing. And I've got a reverb return here, which I think I'll use for the hut So if I just rename that pump house, and we can add a reverb effect to this one. Oh, it's already got one there, so we'll just need to tune that a little bit to make it sound like how we think it should sound in a small room. So the best way to do that is if we go back to the event editor, get our footsteps back on, and just set them to loop for now. Okay. And then if we go back into the mixer window and take the Foley sound, create a post fader send to the pump house, and you can hear immediately a reverb sound. But I think that's a bit too reverberant for such a small space. So let's edit those settings there. Okay, for now, I think that sounds okay. And we want to go back to the mix window, and we actually don't want to hear this as default. So what I can do is take that off. And I will want the internal ambient sounds to go there as well. So I want post fader send to the pump house full. So if I just bring that in to show. I might just bring that down a bit. Well, actually, we'll wait until it's in game and then we can adjust the volumes. So if we go back again to the mixer window, we want that by default to be off. We want the internal ambient sounds by default also to be down. And if we just save, and then we can create a snapshot. So new snapshot, new overriding snapshot. We're going to call this pump house internal, maybe just int. And here we can create our own mix that will be triggered when the snapshot plays. So I want to bring these in, bring that to there, and I want to bring these in. Okay, and for the fader here, we don't want it to jump up to full reverb straight away because that'll sound unnatural as you go in and out of the room. So you can change the volume of the snapshot, and if you modulate that, you can change the attack time of when it comes in and then how long it takes to release as well. Something like that we'll probably do for now. Okay, let's see how that sounds. So if I just go back to the event editor and play some footsteps again, you'll see by default we're outside, there's no reverb. And we can't hear those sounds. So I'll go back to the mixer window and hit play on the snapshot. It should there we go, perfect. Okay, so now that I've done that, what I also want to do is when we walk inside, the sounds that are playing outside will sound duller to us because of the walls and the windows and everything. So what I'm going to do is go back to the mixer, and in the pump house snapshot, I am going to factor in the external ambiences, scope that in, just bring it down a bit. And I also want to add an EQ and just bring the high down a little bit. So let's play the seagulls or the sea loop. So this is us outside. Okay, and that just means that the outside sounds will be dipped when the internal sounds are brought up, and it should make for a natural transition between the two environments. And I also want to make sure that the external sounds are affected by the reverb as well. So we can scope that in there. So everything goes to the reverb. That's fine. And I'll just double check. Okay, it was quite faint there, but yeah, basically when you go inside, all the external ambiences are affected by the reverb as well. So I'll just need to go back out of footsteps and get rid of this loop region. And what we're going to do is save, build, and then go back into Unreal. So once you get into Unreal, FMOD's actually very clever. If you go into the FMOD folder, there's this folder called Reverbs, and what that's done is it's created a reverb setting which you can apply within Unreal in an audio volume. So it makes things very easy. If we just go to volumes here, drag out an audio volume into the game there, and position that so it is the size of the pump house. And if we just go to the 4-window view, we can drag this to size. Just make sure it's not coming out of the walls. You don't want to walk along the outside and have a reverb suddenly applied. Yeah, that seems to be okay. Alright, so I've got the audio volume here. I'm just going to name it Pump House. And if you scroll down in the details panel here to the reverb settings, we can just select the Pump House Snapshot reverb and click this arrow here. So that'll apply the reverb whenever your character or your listening position is inside that audio volume. And the priority at the moment is 0 because I don't actually have any other volumes, but when they overlap, the number here will dictate which audio volume will take control if there's two that are overlapping. So that's that setup there. Now if we just test it, we can see how that's taken an effect. So of course the only thing we heard there was the footsteps, but that's because that's all that was being triggered at the time. What we need to do is bring in the other sounds as well. So if we go back out and into the events, ambience, pump house, and we've got the light buzz. Just bring that in there. And then we can position that next to the light. And we've also got the machine hum, which is for this machine here. Okay, now you'll see that their attenuation goes outside the hut, but we don't actually want to be able to hear it outside the hut, which is why we've silenced them in our main mix. But if I play the game now, I won't be able to hear anything until I go inside the trigger box. And obviously, as you can hear, the footsteps, the reverb is still applied when we're quite a bit out of the hut, so I might just adjust those timings there. So if we go to the snapshot, just adjust that down a bit. Try that. Okay, so I've just went in and tweaked a few of the settings there and make it sound a bit more natural. Let's give that a go. Yeah, I think that sounds better. So we also have a cave area which doesn't have a roof. So what I could do is I'll add a new return for that one. We'll just call it Cave 1. And I want all of our sounds to go there. Well, there's no internal sounds actually, so I could just do the external ambience. and the Foley. So I have Cave 01. We're going to add in the reverb. And if I again go back and just trigger the footsteps for now with a loop. Here we go. I think that sounds a bit like we're walking through a canyon. Okay, and once again we're going to have that out of the main mix and then make a new snapshot. So I'll just stop that for now. New snapshot, new overriding snapshot. We're going to call this Cave 01. And for this one we just want the Cave 01 scoped in. And again, add some attack and release times there. So let's just see what that sounds like. Okay, cool. Always remember to remove the looping region on the footsteps here, and we're going to build and save. Go back into Unreal. And so once again what I'm going to do is drag in an audio volume and just stretch it up to the size of the cave area. Pop it about there so that when you go around the corner it starts to take effect. And grab the Cave 1 Reverb Snapshot, plug that one in, and the fade time on that volume to be about 1. Fade time is probably alright the way it is. I don't want it to suddenly come on and sound unnatural, so it's probably best that it fades in slowly. And I will call this one audio volume Cave 1. And we can test that one as well. Okay, I hope you found that useful, and if you like it, please do like it and subscribe for more content in future. And if you feel like supporting me, you can give me a tip or buy me a coffee. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. Alright, see you next time.